The night was quieter than it should have been, and you felt it before anything else, that strange heaviness that presses against the ribs when the world is holding its breath, as if something old and unseen has decided to lean close enough to whisper. You thought it was tiredness, maybe stress, maybe that same restless loop your mind has been spinning for weeks, but this was not your exhaustion speaking. This was the air shifting because the Watcher of Thresholds had stepped near you again. He does not come with thunder. He does not knock on doors. He does not demand belief. He arrives in the kind of silence that rearranges your pulse. And tonight he came because something aligned against your name has begun to move. You didn't see him, but the feeling found you anyway, the subtle tightening in your chest, the way your breath shortened for half a second, the sudden memory of a dream you had 11 nights ago, the one you dismissed when you woke. That dream wasn't random. That hour wasn't noise. At 4:44 a.m., when your eyes snapped open, you thought it was coincidence. But the Watcher had stood at the edge of your bed, presenting the first warning, the first flicker of the trap built in tomorrow's sunlight. He has been preparing you as quietly as the enemy has been studying you. And while you went about your days unaware, forces on both sides moved pieces across a board you did not know existed. He has guarded the thresholds of millions throughout history, but tonight his vigilance is fixed on you, and you alone, because the danger circling you has matured. The trap was designed to look like blessing, engineered to feel like answered prayer, and timed so precisely that even your intuition nearly missed it. The enemy plans carefully when someone is close to their breakthrough, and whether you realize it or not, you are closer than you have ever been. That is why tomorrow has been marked in the spirit, and that is why the Watcher cannot stay silent anymore. You have already felt the static in the air, the sudden chills, the uneasy tug beneath your ribs, and the way certain names feel different on your tongue. These were not emotions, they were alerts. They were spiritual sirens you kept calling nothing. The Watcher shows you what your natural eyes cannot, and tonight he bends low enough for this message to reach your ears because the moment approaching you is wrapped in gold but forged in deception. Someone somewhere in your orbit has already been nudged toward you. A message is being drafted. A conversation is being rehearsed. A plan is being polished so you won't question it. And tomorrow, between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. in your own time zone, it will appear. It will look aligned. It will look promising. It will look as if the timing of heaven has finally collapsed into your hands. But the Watcher sees what you cannot. The fine wires pulling the situation, the shadows clinging to the edges, the way the opportunity has been carved to fit the exact shape of your vulnerabilities. He has watched the enemy trace your habits, your hesitations, your soft spots, your longings that haven't been healed yet. The adversary knows the version of yes that slips out of you when you're weary. He knows the way your hope sometimes gets hungry enough to grab the first thing that feels warm. And because heaven has a door prepared for you 21 days from now, a door so large it shifts ancestral patterns, the enemy is desperate to bind you before that day arrives. So he has crafted something alluring, something convincing, something that mirrors the very thing you've been praying for, so you step into your own delay disguised as destiny. The Watcher has seen this tactic before. He has stood in countless thresholds, warning countless souls who believed their discernment was sharp until the moment came and the illusion was too polished to detect. But he fights for you because heaven has assigned him to your path and because your spirit has begun waking up. You have felt the shift even if you couldn't name it. You noticed the way certain conversations suddenly drained you, the way an unexpected face resurfaced in your thoughts, the way something small you compromised on 11 days ago has been tugging at you with more weight than it should. That crack was not harmless. It created an opening the enemy intends to widen tomorrow. If you say yes, if you step toward the invitation, if you follow the voice that is not yours but imitates you, the enemy binds you to a 7-year diversion. 7 years of wandering around a mountain you were meant to climb in one season. 7 years of repairing what didn't need to break. 7 years of silence where growth should have been. The watcher cannot force your steps, but he can hold up the lantern to show you the snare beneath the glow. And right now, that lantern is burning in front of you. This is why you feel the urgency in your chest. This is why your spirit has been restless. This is why the numbers 333 and 444 have circled around you like sentinels. He needs you to hear him now, fully, clearly, without drifting, because the moment is close and the margin for error is thin. The watcher whispers not to frighten you, but to sharpen you. Because heaven does not invest warnings into people who don't carry destiny. You are not listening to this by accident. Out of all the eyes and screens in the world, he drew you here because you are the third marked for this alert, and the only one who stayed. The watcher knows what happens when a chosen one dismisses a warning. He has seen great callings collapse under the weight of one careless agreement. But he has also witnessed miracles erupt when someone obeys the quiet nudge of heaven. He has seen doors open that generations prayed for. He has seen cycles break that were once believed permanent. And he knows that your obedience tomorrow, your refusal to say yes to the wrong voice, will protect the doorway set to open for you 21 days from now. Funds are already allocated. People are already being aligned. Provision is already making its way toward your name. But none of it manifests if you step into the gilded trap disguised as breakthrough. Heaven is counting on your clarity. The watcher is counting on your vigilance.
The watcher does not speak in sentences the way humans do. His language is pressure, pattern, pulse. And as the night stretches deeper around you, he draws nearer, not with footsteps but with presence, like the air itself rearranges to make room for him. You can feel it now more clearly than before, that invisible weight that isn't heavy but undeniable, as though a truth far older than you is standing behind your shoulder and waiting for you to breathe deeply enough to perceive it. The watcher knows that tomorrow's moment has already started crystallizing in the unseen, and he knows the enemy has positioned someone whose words will sound gentle, familiar, even comforting. But deception rarely arrives with horns. It comes cloaked in recognition. It mirrors your hopes to slip past your guard. The watcher needs you to be alert, not fearful, but sharpened, because fear blinds while awareness liberates. Earlier today, when your thoughts drifted for no clear reason, when you felt that sudden flicker of unease in the middle of an ordinary task, that was the second ripple of warning. It did not come from stress or imagination. It rose from the spiritual perimeter tightening around you. There are moments in every life when heaven leans closer, when timing becomes delicate, when the smallest decision has the power to shift entire narratives. You are standing in one of those rare thresholds, and the watcher has been stationed here for weeks, waiting for the moment when he could finally reveal the full shape of what approaches you. Even now you are sensing the fragments of memories you thought were long forgotten. The conversation you replayed 2 days ago, the name that tugged at you out of nowhere, the quiet pause you felt yesterday evening when your phone vibrated. None of these were random. They were rehearsals for tomorrow's test. The watcher has witnessed lifetimes of traps disguised as promotions, relationships shaped as chains, offers forged as distractions. He has observed how the enemy crafts his most convincing illusions right before elevation arrives. You are not imagining the intensity around you. Elevation attracts interference, just as light attracts shadow. The enemy has studied your rhythm for 11 months. He knows the precise tone of encouragement that softens you. He knows the angle of opportunity that makes you second-guess your boundaries. He knows the version of your hope that still aches to be recognized. And so he has shaped a moment that feels like validation, but is actually violation. That is the design the Watcher wants you to see before you step blindly into a gilded cage. Your spirit has been signaling you. The chills that came without reason. The sudden memories you didn't ask for. The moments when your intuition spoke louder than your thoughts. Even your dreams have shifted, growing more vivid, more symbolic, more insistent. You brushed them aside, thinking your mind was simply restless. But dreams are the Watcher's canvas. They are the space where he paints warnings when your waking world is too loud to hear him. 11 nights ago, when the dream echoed with an unfamiliar doorway and a voice calling your name from the other side, that was not imagination. It was revelation. It was the Watcher showing you the threshold you stand at right now and the shadow positioned behind the wrong door. He needs you to remember that your purpose has weight. You may not fully grasp the magnitude of your calling, but the enemy does. That is why he is rushing. That is why he is weaving urgency around tomorrow. He wants to intercept the blessing scheduled for 21 days from now. The Watcher has seen the preparations for that day, the financial shift, the introduction being aligned, the opportunity drawn toward your name with divine precision. Heaven does not postpone such things without reason, but stepping into the wrong agreement tomorrow creates a spiritual detour that delays the blessing beyond recognition. The Watcher is not trying to scare you. He is trying to steady you, because destiny depends not only on faith, but on discernment. Right now, you may feel a tension pulling at your chest, a pressure that feels like anticipation mixed with unease. That is your spirit recognizing the truth of this moment. The Watcher amplifies this feeling so that you won't dismiss it when the time comes. He needs you to trust your first instinct, the one that rises before logic tries to dilute it. He needs you to recognize the voice of alignment and distinguish it from the voice of temptation. You will know the difference because one voice brings peace even when the choice is difficult, and the other voice brings excitement mixed with unease. The enemy's offers always feel urgent. Heaven's invitations feel steady. Tomorrow, seek the steady. Someone is preparing to reach out to you. It may come as a message that seems harmless or a conversation that feels overdue. It may appear as reconciliation or opportunity. It may look exactly like what you once prayed for. But the Watcher stands by the threshold because he has seen the cords hidden beneath the surface. The person approaching you is not fully aware they are being used. The enemy whispers in subtle ways, slipping thoughts into spaces that feel like intuition. He nudges emotions that sound like longing. He manipulates timing so the moment appears divine. But the Watcher's eyes pierce through the veil, and he sees the energy behind the words, the consequence behind the agreement, the chain behind the contract. Tonight he reveals something you were not meant to ignore. The enemy is not after your finances, your relationships, or your opportunities. He is after your trajectory. If he can shift your direction by a single degree tomorrow, the entire path that was aligned for you in 21 days from now becomes unreachable. A small compromise becomes a long captivity. A single yes becomes a 7-year bind. The Watcher cannot let you walk into that unknowingly, so he presses the truth into your awareness, not through fear, but through clarity. You were created for more than survival. You were built for assignment, and assignment requires gates of wisdom. You have wondered why the last few weeks felt heavier, why your emotions felt unpredictable, why your mind wandered into places you thought you had healed. The Watcher wants you to understand that this was not regression, it was interference. Whenever heaven prepares elevation, the enemy stirs past wounds to create confusion. He tries to resurrect old desires so the new path becomes blurred. He pushes you towards familiarity because familiarity is the easiest chain to hide. Tomorrow's moment will feel familiar. That is the danger. Not because familiarity is bad, but because not all familiar things are aligned things. The Watcher stands here to help you distinguish the echo of the past from the invitation of the future. The enemy thinks you will choose the familiar door, but the Watcher sees a different outcome if you listen. He sees strength rising in you. He sees clarity sharpening. He sees the way your spirit is beginning to wake, the way your intuition is stretching its wings again after being dormant for too long. Heaven is not setting you up for failure. Heaven is preparing you for the door in 21 days. That is why the warning comes with such intensity. That is why you feel the pull to keep listening. That is why you were the one who stayed when the others clicked away. Your spiritual frequency is shifting, and the Watcher is guiding the calibration. Tomorrow, when the message arrives or the conversation begins, you will feel a split second of hesitation, a breath of unease that tries to rise before your mind interferes. That moment is your signal. That is the Watcher touching your shoulder. Do not ignore it. You will feel it in the lower part of your chest, like a quiet tightening. You will feel it behind your thoughts, like a whisper trying to surface. That is the truth pushing through the illusion. If you choose alignment instead of distraction, the enemy's plan unravels, and the blessing meant for 21 days from now accelerates rather than delays. You are standing in a divine intersection, and the Watcher of Thresholds is holding the lantern so you can see clearly. You have not failed. You have not fallen behind. You have not missed your moment. If anything, you are right on time. Heaven would not send a warning this strong if your destiny was fragile. It sends this warning because your destiny is powerful, and because the path ahead of you is worth protecting. The Watcher sees the greatness waiting beyond the threshold. He sees the season you were meant to enter. And though he cannot walk through the door for you, he will guard the entrance until you take the right step.